Hi Josh, nice to have you here. Let's go back to your first day as a UNILAG student. Did you ever imagine you finish with the first class? I mean, a 4.62 CGPA.
To be very honest, I don't think I would have actually gotten 4.62. And this is because I heard a lot of stories about the faculty, how people don't make first class, and sometimes it could be 1 or nothing, right? So, and in fact, the 4.62 happens to be like one of the highest in a long time. So I never imagined I was going to make, 4.62.
Wow.
And as regards the first class, I would say that I came in with the mind of doing well, right? I mean, I like to excel. Right from secondary school, I was a valedictorian. So I felt that university shouldn't be different from my secondary school. But I mean, I was just trying to pull my best, and that was how I arrived at 4.62. Yeah.
Wow. All right, Josh, what was your lowest moments as a student in UNILAG? I mean, the one time you thought you couldn't do this anymore?
I wouldn't say there was a time I thought I wouldn't do it anymore, but obviously I had 2 low moments. The first was in my first year and my first semester, when I had DE in English and poetry. Thank you. I usually make a joke out of it. Like, I'm not a direct teacher, so why am I having DE? Right. So, but then I sort of reflect on how I performed, and I felt it could get better. And then obviously second semester was better, and then subsequent semesters. Then in year 3 again, there was another galloping.
Yeah.
I had BBC, British Broadcasting Corporation, and it was so funny, but by the time I calculated my CGPA again, I was still hovering on 4.5 on the dot.
Wow.
And all our courses are 4 units. Any B, any C can.
Thanks to GP.
But then I kept on putting in my best until I was able. So those were my lowest moments.
All right, Josh, you did not just have good grades. You came out as the best graduating student. You were involved in so many activities within the campus. How did you manage to do all of these things without burning out?
All right. So, the truth is, before I even started student politics, in year 4, I'd always been, people's person. So I wasn't just living for myself. I was also, extending, my time and attention to other people. I could recall so many times when junior, even some of my peers would come and meet me, asking questions, and I was always very glad, to attempt their questions. So the experience wasn't so different by the time I eventually ventured into politics and became the president of the Law Student Society, right?
Wow.
So it was easy for me to carry, the burden, my academic burden on the one hand, and also be able to, attend to, the demands of the office of the president, at the same time. So in fact, it didn't affect me at all, because in my final year, where, I had to really discharge a lot of responsibility for the office of the president, I had 2 scores of 5.0.
5.0 in both semesters. Yeah. Wow.
So
wow. It was as the president of the faculty.
Yeah, president of the faculty.
Wow.
Yes. And I also must mention I was the second best graduate student. I missed the mark by 0.01.
So 0.01.
Our BGS had 4.63, I had 4.62.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Although she started on a very good note, I think she had 5.0. I started on 4.1, but I mean,
wow, 4.62, 4.6. That was very close.
Yeah, that was close.
All right, Josh, was there a time you underperformed or you probably failed? How did you bounce back?
Well, I said earlier that in my year 1, first semester, when I had DE, I had to look inwards, try to look at, okay, what are the things I wasn't doing right? And then when I figured those things out, I had to, adjust the way I was approaching my, university studies. I thought the same technique I used in secondary school was going to work.
Okay.
But unfortunately, they didn't work, right? And then more importantly, when I was entering year 2, when we're going to start law proper, because in year 1, you're just borrowing courses from different departments.
Sure.
You're only doing one law course, which is legal method.
Okay.
So in year 2, I knew that this was a new terrain and I need to seek guidance. So I had to ask for, details of people that were doing well in upper level. So I met with Tade, I remember. It was in the library, and the 5 minutes I spent with Tade changed the entire thing for me. In fact, my year 2, I recorded all A's apart from 2 B's in both semesters. And so my GP rose. And then that was how I was able to build on that, foundation. So that year 1 first semester, I would say, was a moment where I felt that, this is not going to work, and I had to just seek help, right? And I was also consistent in my game. Yeah.
Was there a specific lecturer, course, or semester that almost finished you?
In the faculty, there are a number of courses that we tag as demons. Those courses are by nature. People don't usually get A's. And there are some times that grade might even start from C. So if you get a C, you are a superstar. Some of these courses are, criminal law, commercial transactions, land law, and company law. Now, in year 3 for criminal law and commercial transaction, I was able to, it wasn't really difficult for me. But by the time I got to year 4, when I saw the volume of the course outline for land law, I was scared. And then by the time I even looked at the past question, I felt it almost finished me even before the exam.
Wow.
So what I had to do was to try to do demo exams for myself. So I answer within time, and then in the course of it, I realized, okay, the reason people don't get up to the score they want is because they don't end up finishing all the questions. So they say a lot of stories. So in the course of my practice, I was able to develop a strategy that once I see this question, I just give them a line or two. And the whole thing the lecturer wants to see is that you have an idea.
Okay.
Right. So, and at the end of the day, for that land law, I got the highest score.
Wow.
For over 12 or 8 years, as I heard, there would be no A's. So I broke the record, and then I broke the record again, and then I got A's in both semesters, and I got the award on the convocation day.
Wow.
Then also for company law, is also a kind of course that, and it's a final year course. 100 people having carryover. In fact, in our own time, it was 187.
Wow.
Before it was reviewed, and then 87 people still had to come back for that course. So I was able to also develop strategy by reading up the cases they give in class. In fact, I got married to my KAMA. I knew most provisions in KAMA because that's the major statute governing the course, right? And at the end of the day, I also got the highest in company law, and also got
so both courses that should have finished you came out with A's.
I came out with A's,
and you had the highest.
Yes.
Wow. You say law students don't sleep. How true is that for you?
Well, what I would say is that you have to understand yourself. Okay. So it's actually a fallacious statement to say that law students don't sleep. Although I'm aware that some people indulge in, overnight reading and all that. While it is not bad in itself, the truth of the matter is that some people, they are just following the bandwagon, right? When I was in school, I remember year 1, year 2, I tried overnight, and I will tell you the truth, it wasn't beneficial in any way for me, right? So if you're a day reader, read during the day and then sleep well at night. If I read during the day, I could just sleep from 12 and wake up by 6 and then plan my day again. Okay. Because when I go for overnight, you're struggling with mosquitoes because it's usually outdoors. Yeah. Right. And then you're also fighting sleep. So how do you remain focused?
So it's counterproductive.
Exactly, it's counterproductive at the end of the day. Okay. So you don't have to follow people that choose to be vigilante. There's no offense to anyone, but what I'm just trying to say is that just know what works for you. That's just the truth. Because some people go for overnight, they will sleep before. That's like from 9 to 12. Yeah. They go for overnight, sleep again by 2. And then when they get to their room in the morning, their roommate will be hailing them, scholar, and then they will sleep again till like 11 a.m. Yeah. So why should you waste your time? So just plan your day. You can take breaks. If what you are thinking is that the time is not enough, you can always take breaks in session. You read from 2 to 4, take a break, go again, take a break and then go again. So that way you would be able to maximize your day. In fact, there was a time I did overnight for a course. It was administrative law in year 2. And the experience in the exam was not palatable for me. My head was just everywhere. In fact, that was what made me add a B in that course. Because my brain almost knocked out. I couldn't recall things I had to, stuff in my head because of the overnight reading. So just do what works for you, really.
Did your background or upbringing play a major role in shaping your academic drive?
Yes, it does. Because I came from a background where they laud academic performance. They are very happy when you excel. So if you look at your right, if you look at your left, people are getting PhD, they are doing master's degree, distant relative, everybody. So there's no excuse, for you. And then more importantly, when I lost my father at the age of 9, and then I had to stay with my grandparents, for some time, she told me, that my father was very brilliant. He's always getting all A's and other things. So I feel it's also hereditary that, I'm always having, A's and all. So I believe that also shaped, the way I approach my academics and also give it my best, But then remember that even when you have, let's say, an inborn gift or talent, it's always important that you also nurture it. So it's not enough that, you are brilliant. You must also try to, ensure that you bring it into, reality by doing the work you're supposed to do. Yeah.
Josh, I'm sure the viewers want to know what habit or principles shaping you to becoming the best graduating student. With the 4.62 CGPA. All
right. So, there are two important factors. The first is the God factor, and then the second is consistency. Right. So I'm someone who believes that, once you hope on God, things will get sorted. Right. And then more importantly, you also have to do your part. And that's where consistency comes in. Right. And there's this provision of the law that, gives me motivation, which I also infuse the word consistency in. And that is section 1, subsection 3 of the 1999 Constitution, which says that if any other law is inconsistent with the provisions of the Constitution shall prevail, and that other law shall to the extent of its inconsistency be void. So my whole version is that if I'm not consistent with what I am doing, my goal will be null and my dream will be void. So in order to ensure that I bring my dream into fruition, it's important for me to be consistent. And that's why even when I had, bad grades, I was still able to bounce back. So when you look at my, my transcripts, all the grades are well represented apart from F. A, B, C, D, E. But the truth of the matter is that if I get A, B, B, I get C, A, B, B. So the cumulative of it is now what, produce the 4.62 at the end of the day. Yeah. So consistency is very, very important.
Key. Josh, how did your family react to your achievements? Were they surprised or did they expect the 4.62 CGPA?
They were not surprised at all. Because, when you've been doing well and like I said, I'm surrounded by people that love education and everything. So they were not surprised. In fact, they were very happy and impressed about the performance, but they were not surprised. There were people that when you get a B and somebody else got an A, they'll tell you, does the person have two heads? And you're like, look at the F. They said, don't look at the F, look at the A. Why is it that person got an A and you are getting it? So they were not surprised in any way. But of course, they commended, my effort, and they were also very happy about the result. Yeah.
All right, Josh. How did you handle peer pressure, social life versus academic experiences?
Well, what I would say is that, my year 1, year 2, I was just the typical nerd. I was always reading, and then my classmates would come. They gave me a nickname, Jack Shan, because when you over Jack, you become Jack Shan. So it was. So and then I was always trying to say, oh, what are these people trying to say? But then I was still, focused on what I intend to, always expecting the best result anyway. So I have to put in the work. So I wasn't swayed by, their opinion, but I had to loosen up in my year 3, year 4.
Why?
Because at that time, I knew that, all Jack, all work and no play makes Jack. So I felt that, no, I need to, and people, the fact that I wasn't going out with people doesn't mean I wasn't interacting with people, right? People still come, ask questions and all those things, but I wasn't the social type until year 3. So I had to loosen up because, in fact, the vision of becoming the president had not yet even surfaced then. But I just had to, free my mind because I felt people, you should be able to socialize with people and other things. Then in year 4, it even become more important because I was running for a post where they don't just want somebody that is book smart. They want somebody that will be able to host, social event, parties. You have to appeal to all the different categories of law students, the happening guys and the happening girls.
Definitely.
So I had to loosen up. I was going to party, I even had babes.
Oh wow.
I had to, I had to move. I had to, So at the end of the day, I saw that, honestly, being able to socialize is not a distraction.
Okay.
It's just a question of balance. You should be able to, balance everything. Because even when we leave, when we're done with formal education, even in life, you must be able to, attend to family need. You must be able to attend to your workplace, and you must be able to attend to a whole lot of. So if you don't have a balance, that it will be difficult by the time that
phase comes.
that phase comes. Yeah.
Hey Josh, there's someone watching this right now who's probably struggling with grades or probably struggling with examinations. What would you say to such person?
All right. So if I had given up after my year one first semester, I would not be yet speaking to you. I would not have 4.62, right? So the truth of the matter is that it only gets better when you don't give up, right? It only gets better. You know, they say 50-50 life na chance. So the truth of the matter is that when you prepare well, you put in the work, I'm sure it will get better for you, right? But when you give up, it will only get worse, right? So the truth about it is that just try to, seek help from your mentors. I remember in my year 2 when I saw that things were not the same way it was in secondary school, I had to reach out to some of my seniors that were doing very well in law, and they gave me that proper guide, and that was what helped me. Now, it's not enough for you to get mentors, right? You must also, try as much as possible, to execute whatever task they give you or any direction they give you. So after I got that mentorship opportunity, what I did was to start practicing on my own, right? And then you must be also ready to spend, time reading and trying to answer past questions, because ultimately in faculties of law in Nigeria, one of the major thing that makes you a good student or high-flying student is the fact that you are able to attempt questions properly. So seek help and then try as much as possible to practice and know how to answer your law questions. So don't give up.
Thank you so much, Josh. So if you can relive one day as a UNILAG student, which day will it be, whether good or bad?
Well, it's a good day, and that was during the convocation ceremony, right? So, I was just hearing Adeyeye Ibukun Joshua, best in land law, Adeyeye Ibukun Joshua. So as I was going, I was coming back, I was going, I was coming back. So I felt like, wow. So at the end of the day, hard work and
paid off.
Paid off. And so I was very, very proud of myself.
Now that you have achieved this great feat, what is next for Joshua?
Well, I'm currently at the Nigerian Law School, Lagos campus to be specific. Okay. So that's the next, phase of my life. And by special grace of God, I'm going to come out well. So after this phase, the next thing is to do my NYSC. Yeah. And by special grace of God, I also look forward to getting scholarship, so that I could further my studies at Ivy League University.
Do you have a specific advice for a student in law currently?
Yes, I do. Okay. And that is that what makes, an excellent law student goes beyond the four walls of the university. So you have to explore internship opportunities. I remember during my undergraduate days, I had the opportunity and privilege to intern at, tier 1 firm. In the course of my internship, I was able to see that, law goes beyond just going to court and saying, my lord, my lord. Some of us probably don't want to do litigation. Yeah. So there's a whole lot of opportunity for you when you intern. In fact, in the course of internship, you could even come across something that, appeals to your fancy, maybe an area that you want to specialize in. Okay. In fact, it was until I started internship that I knew things like, private equity, capital markets, power and infrastructure. Some of these things were not taught. And even if they were taught during undergraduate, it was just on the fringes. You don't have the practical knowledge. So in the course of my internship, I was exposed to, all these, multifaceted areas of law, right? So I believe that you should set out time during your holidays to intern at, law firms. And it doesn't have to even be a tier 1 firm. Start from somewhere. Also engage in volunteering activities within the faculty, participate in chamber activities, mooting and all those things. They also help you, when you are, searching for internship opportunities.
Great.
So good luck and
best of luck.
Yeah, best of luck, basically, yeah.
Thank you so much, Josh. It was really great having you here.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.